There, Vickie here from morningoakpublishing.com, and let's talk titles. This is one piece of getting your book out there that can give some people a bit of angst. And I totally know why, because your title is vital to your book's success. So if you've been thinking that you need to come up with a great title, you are right. It's directly related to your book getting noticed and getting sales. So, here I want to share my 5 recommendations in order to choose a great book title for your book. We're going to get into that right now, including one that you actually should not do at all. And afterwards, I'm going to tell you what to do if you find out that someone else has the same great title that you just came up with and fell in love with. Now, you probably heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. But let's just be real here for a second. Your cover is getting judged as interesting or not interesting as people are scrolling through their choices. If it doesn't call out to that person that you want to read it, they're just going to keep scrolling by. So people definitely do judge a book by its cover. Side note, I would suggest paying someone to make your title and cover visually appealing so you don't do all that amazing work with the contents of your book and then not have a cover that expresses the same amazingness. Okay, so let's get into this now. Number 1, you want to keep your title short. I recommend somewhere between 3 and 5 words to my clients. When I think about my favorite books, the titles are short. So here's one, Leveraging the Universe. Another one, Loving What Is. Start with No. And I recently read this book called From Worst to First. They're all under 5 words. In fact, those first ones were just 3. Now, of course, there are exceptions to every rule, like, here's one, A Happy Pocket Full of Money. It's over 5 words. But here's the thing, short titles are easier to remember, so when someone is recommending your book, they'll be able to recall the title quickly. Did you know 80% of books are sold by referral? So you want to make it easy for people to pass along your title. All right, number 2, do not go with something that's too cutesy. When you think you have this awesome double play on words, other people may not be so sharp. They might not catch on. And guess what? People scroll through a bookstore website or glance at titles on a physical shelf, and they decide pretty quickly if it's worth the extra thought. And usually they think it's not. So if they have to think about it, they'll just figure, I'm just going to skip it all together, and you've lost a sale. Remember, a confused buyer doesn't buy. So ditch the cutesy or overly clever ideas for something a little more straightforward. Number 3, think about keywords. People will be searching for your book, so between the title and subtitle, it needs to be clear what the outcome, the results, the promise you're delivering, and to who you want to call out as your ideal client reader, right? Because they might not know your book exists and they're using keywords to find a book like yours. Now, note of caution, you don't want to be so overly obsessed with keywords that you stuff your title and subtitle like overpacked. Really, if your title doesn't have a keyword, it's okay, but your subtitle will tell your reader the rest of the story of what they need to know in order to make a decision that they want it. When you think about your title and subtitle combo, think of your title kind of like a subject line when you get emails into your inbox. You're scrolling through, and what subject line is going to catch your eye is going to be interesting to you. Is it interesting enough to get someone to click to open that email? Then your subtitle is kind of like that first line of that email. Is it continuing to be interesting enough to get the reader to keep on reading, or are they going to close out the email? It's the same thing with your title and subtitle. Is your title interesting enough for them to pick up the book? And is this subtitle descriptive enough to let them know what they're going to get so that they want to open and continue reading? Number 4, put yourself in your ideal client reader's shoes. What would catch their eye? This is where, again, it's important to get a professional cover designer because it's not just about the title that will stop their scroll. It's about those other things. The other day, I was looking through Audible about tax strategies for business owners. Some of the titles were really boring, and some of the cover, not so great. But when I found a combo of the two that really caught my eye and it told me what I was going to get and wasn't just like a boring general thing, I clicked on it to find out more. And that's what you want to happen for your reader too. Number 5, here is the do not do. Do not ask all your friends their opinions unless they're your ideal client reader. Most of your friends and family members don't want to hurt your feelings, just like you probably shouldn't use them to be your editor either. You probably aren't going to get an honest opinion in the first place. They might be like, yep, it's okay. Yeah, I like it. And they're really not putting that much thought into it anyway. They just don't want to hurt your feeling. So if you ask for feedback, you need to ask people who are willing to hurt your feelings, or you need to ask people who are truly people who would want to read your book, who are interested in the topic and want to have the transformation that you're delivering inside the book. But in the long run, it is your decision. In the end, it's your book. And the most important thing is that you are completely sold out for not just the contents that you wrote, but the title. Because if you're not sold out, you won't talk about it, you won't promote it, you'll hide it away, and it'll end up being one of those books that collects dust on the shelf. Remember too that I told you that I'd share what to do if you came up with a title that's been used before? Well, let's talk about that because, yup, it happens. It happens a lot, in fact, because here's the thing, you cannot copyright a title. So you might come up with something that's been used even more than once before by multiple authors, and now you need to choose. Do you want to compete with those authors as well? Now you need to decide. Are people going to be confused if you tell them your book title? They're going to find it based on what you tell them. And then there's going to be multiple books. And did they remember the author name, your name? Or are they just remembering the title? How are they going to figure out which one's the right one? You might end up with another confused buyer. And then you got to ask yourself, how tied are you to that title? Or could you maybe tweak it just a little bit and still love it and make it more unique? You could even go as far as to check if website domains for your book title is taken. If it is, maybe that's the thing that puts you over the edge that you decide, you know what, I'm going to find something different that nobody else has used before. A lot of times it's a good idea to wait until you're done writing your book to choose a title. Why? Because it can influence what you put in the book or lead you a certain way that you don't want it to go. And the biggest reason is because you might actually say something in the book that you accidentally realize is a great title. And there, it just took care of itself without any extra effort or work on your part. And that's it. My top tips to choosing a title that isn't just great, but gets people to want to buy your book. If you'd like to get my free top 10 most profitable best-selling book niches, go ahead and just grab it down below in the description. It's absolutely free and my gift to you. I'm a 10-time best-selling author and I did the research for you on which niches are hot. So if you're a nonfiction writer, an entrepreneur who wants to write a book to grow your business, get more reach, create more impact, and turn your readers into paying clients, don't miss that one. Again, it's down below. And make sure to give this video a like if you liked it, if you learned something, or if you found it helpful. And comment down below with your biggest takeaway, or if you have any follow-up questions. I might just shoot my next video to answer it. And lastly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know when the next video comes out. I share tips on how to write, market, publish, and launch your best-selling book. See you in the next video. Bye.